And otherwise, welcome. Thank you for joining me. And it's always such an honor and privilege to share yoga, even though it's virtual classes. So I feel very pleased and honored to be here with you this evening. And our theme for this week is the Astavakrasana, which is the 8-limb pose, it's called, but it has a really interesting story around it. It's called, well, the 8-angle pose. We're going to include that in our flow today. It's our peak pose. It's a balancing pose, and it's quite a strong pose, an arm balance pose. And we're going to work towards that through our flow. But the pose is dedicated to the sage Astavakrasana, and he was the spiritual guru of King Janaka. And in Sanskrit, the word means literally like 8-cornered or bent seat. And the mythology around it dates back to around the 600 BC, thereabouts. It's disputed, but around that time. And it's drawn from a foundational Vedic text called the Astavakrasana Gita. So we all know of the Bhagavad Gita, and this is a shorter, more kind of esoteric and abstract, very interesting text. And it focuses a lot around the story. Well, it focuses on it's the story of Astavakrasana, and he was born disabled with 8 deformities in the body, and he becomes a sage over his life. And the story is of his journey in overcoming his disabilities and his deformities. And it focuses on freedom, self-awareness, self-acceptance, and on union, non-dualism, so on feeling of connectedness to the self and therefore all things. And so it really, when applied, and as we're going to do in our flow today, so I'll talk about the story and all that kind of thing on Sunday for our yin class, but today we're really going to focus on that, working towards that posture, and also on working with that ability to get out of the mind, which is really where our limitations are, right? Our blockages are, where we put the blinkers on, getting out of the mind and into the body. So through letting go of those self-limitations, coming to a point of self-acceptance and working with our bodies without limiting ourselves with negative thought patterns. So with that in mind, let's begin. Come to a comfortable seat on your cushion, on your mat, so your Sukhasana seat. Maybe choose the less obvious cross, so the least common leg that you put on the inside. Maybe let's go with that today. And trying to achieve some general balance in the hips through that. And then I invite you to gently sit up nice and straight, roll the shoulders back, lift up through the spine, lift up through the top of the head, and bring your hands softly on your knees, palms facing down or up, and come to close your eyes. And as you do that, come to connect with your breath, observing the flow of breath, your inhalation and exhalation as it falls, as it occurs naturally. And let this automated rhythm of your breath be your guide and tool into your practice. As we connect with this breath, let's land mentally on our mats. And as we focus on the sensations around our breath and the rhythms of our breath, let's start to begin the process of getting out of the mind and into the body. So let's start to imagine as though the energy and the chemical reactions of the brain, all that's happening around the thought process, let's just observe this like a whole lot of flashing lights, like electricity running through our brains. Let's just bring this perception, this idea to mind. So envision that. And then slowly with each exhalation, I invite you to imagine as though those lights start to dim a little bit and start to become less frenetic and less common. Start to turn off those lights in the brain. And start to slow the thinking and draw yourself to this present moment. And as you turn off the lights and linkages in the brain, the neural firing in the brain, as you turn that off consciously, I invite you to draw that light, let it seep downwards from the brain and just into that third eye. So into that point between the brows, just above your eyebrows. And I invite you to let that light, as it turns off from the frenetic firing of the brain and thought patterns, I invite you to let it solidify and concentrate in the third eye. And through connecting with our third eye, with our Ajna chakra, I invite you to observe the effect that has on your physical body. And the feeling that emanates through the face and the neck and the shoulders and the head the minute you concentrate that light energy on that point. Maybe a softening of the face and jaw, sense of expansiveness over the shoulders and the back of the neck. Perhaps you sit a little bit higher in your seat, open the chest a little bit further. Perhaps the shoulders relax a little bit and the burdens of the conscious mind lift from the shoulders. As the elbows feel heavy and sink towards the legs and the palms feel nice and soft and warm on the knees. As you sit a little bit taller, feel the sync and the synergy of breath now with body. As your mind meshes with this connection. As your mind drips and sinks down into body and breath. Just achieving this union of the triad of breath and body and mind. As we now are ready to enter into your practice, I invite you to make a sankalpa or intention for your practice today around this sense of connection, of being out of mind and in body. To make an intention for yourself to keep this sense of breath to body and mind meshed with that, this perfect synergy. And on your next exhalation, I invite you, keeping the eyes closed, just to draw your chin down towards your chest. So stretching the back of the neck. Feeling a lovely stretch over the back of the neck and into the shoulders. Make sure you're still sitting up nice and straight. And then slowly in your own time, start to rotate into the neck. So stretching, coming up towards the left side and rotating in a nice full circle to the right side or in the other direction if that was more natural for you. It doesn't matter. Just coming in 3 full rotations in each direction. Take your time with it as you stretch completely into all the really sticky and static areas, or the embedded stress and strain that we hold around our necks and shoulders. So just rotating both equally, but also with a sense of calm, of timelessness. This is also waking up the spine. And when you've done the 3 rotations, bringing your neck back to neutral and gently blinking your eyes open to face forwards, and you can slide your feet forwards, soles of the feet facing each other, and just come off your cushion if you're sitting on it and place it over your legs. So this is a super loose Baddha Konasana. And from there, you can just come to reach forwards, grab onto your toes or the corner of the mat. Inhale to lengthen, and then exhale to fold forwards over that cushion, looking down towards your feet, perhaps softening your head on the cushion as well. And just continue to breathe deep, full breaths here, nice, full, long, expansive breaths as we stretch through the spine, our first opening pose here. Gently pressing the hips back and behind you as you reach forward with the top of the head, lengthening through the spine as you do so. Allowing for a nice natural curve in the spine, our first asana. And we can take another 5 full cycles of breath here in your own time. So count through those cycles in your own time, with care and with focus, observing the full inhalation and the full exhalation, perhaps connecting with a slight moment of silence and stillness between each cycle. And when you've completed that fifth full exhalation, I invite you to inhale to sit up, and you can just move that cushion out the way. And then bring your feet up as wide as the hips or even a little bit wider, bringing the soles of the feet on the floor. First things first, hold on to the front of the shins or knees or around the ankles and just sit up nice and straight. Roll the shoulders down and back. And then as you exhale, I invite you to make the forearms really heavy and draw them down to the floor inside your feet. So for some of you, the floor is still very far away. For some of you, you're close or even forearms on the floor. And that doesn't matter. You're still experiencing and feeling this movement. So you're still keeping contact with the floor, feet, soles of the feet to the floor. And you're kind of pressing into the floor with your feet as you reach through the top of the head. And then also press your bum into the floor. And you feel a lot happening around the hips and the lower back. And let's just take this through another 2 full cycles of breath. And exhale. On the next inhalation, sit up and then move your left leg towards the left and press your right knee in towards the floor. So you're making like 2 right angles with your legs. Left, right angle, right, right angle. So just arrange your legs so that they are at that 90-degree angle, both knee. And then bring your hands to your heart, bringing the palms together, opening the elbows out. Sit up nice and straight. And on the next exhalation, so this is functional hip mobility, reach over that front left knee. Inhale to sit up, and this is going to feel intensive. Exhale to twist and lean over the outside of that right leg. So you'll really feel all the juicy or not so juicy bits of the hips. Inhale to the center, rotate, exhale over that front left leg. Inhale to the center, exhale over the back one. Inhale to the center, exhale over the front. Inhale to the center, exhale over the back. 1 more in each direction. Inhale to center, exhale, leaning forwards over that left leg. Inhale to center, exhale, lean over the right. Inhale to center, and then we can just swap in the other direction. So bringing the inside of the left leg on the floor and the outside of the right leg on the floor, making the perfect right angles with your knees, and then bringing hands to heart. Sit up nice and straight. So one side's going to be more sticky than the other. That's normal. Exhale, lean over the right. Inhale to the center. Exhale, lean over the left. Inhale to the center. Exhale, front, right. Inhale to center. Exhale, back left. Inhale to center. Exhale to the front. Inhale to center. Let's do one more each side. So exhale. Sorry, that was to finish off. Now one more on each side. Exhale over the front. Inhale to center. Exhale over that back leg. Inhale to center. Exhale to release your hands behind you now, and hopefully you're facing the front of your mat. If not, swivel to face the front of your mat, and have your feet hip width apart, hands behind you, fingers pointing in towards your hips. And then inhale to lift your hips up off the floor, coming into the reverse tabletop. Engage your glutes, and let's take a breath here. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. On the exhalation, lower your hips to the floor to a hover, and then inhale to slide them back between your hands, maybe keeping the bum to hover, or bring it to the floor if you have to. Exhale, and then inhale to bring them back to your reverse tabletop. Let's exhale to lower, hover. Inhale to draw them back between your hands. Exhale, and inhale back to reverse tabletop. Let's do it a few more times. Exhale to lower and hover. Inhale to draw back between your arms. And exhale, hold there, sorry, too quick. Inhale and return reverse tabletop. 2 more times. Exhale to lower and hover. Inhale to draw back between your hands. Exhale to hold. Inhale to center. This will be the last time. Exhale to lower. Inhale to draw back and hover. Exhale to hold. And then inhale to return. Exhale to lower. This time you're going to take your right leg over your left in a figure of 4 shape. So right angle over the top of the left knee, and then engage into the right big toe and the ball of the right foot as you press your right knee away from you. So if your right hip flexor and adductors are very tight, your knee is going to be closer to you. Regardless of where the knee is, you want to feel and engage into the adductors to open that leg out and press the knee away. On your next inhalation, keeping that strong figure of 4, you're going to lift your bum up in the reverse tabletop as we had before. And then you're going to exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. Keep that leg, right leg and toes engaged. And exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. 2 more times. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Last time here. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Now keeping your legs where they are, keeping the right leg engaged, take your left hand behind you on the mat towards the right side of the mat. So bring it over to the opposite side of the mat. Lifting up your right arm, stretching through the torso. Take a deep inhalation and lift your hips up, find your balance, and then exhale to swivel around to face the back of your mat with your figure of 4 legs. So you might have to hop to get your alignment quite right. Spread your fingers, spread your index finger and thumb in particular, pressing it to the floor. Continue to press your right knee backwards and keep that figure of 4 shape nice and strong and active. Tilt from the hips and lengthen through the spine. Let's take a deep breath here. Inhale and exhale. Another deep breath here. Inhale and exhale. On your next inhalation, looking forwards between your hands, come into a plank pose with a figure of 4 legs. So really engage into the right knee here. And then exhale to slowly lower the body to the floor with a figure of 4 leg. Release the left foot, place the top of the left foot onto the floor and engage through your glutes as you bring your elbows under your shoulders, palms flat on the floor in front of your elbows and come into the Sphinx pose with figure of four legs. So you really want to press your hips into the floor evenly. So make your right hip really heavy, like a magnetic force between the front of the hip and the TSI and your mat. And then also make the left foot, the top of the left foot, really heavy. Breathing deep and full as you roll the shoulders back and offer your chest and solar plexus and throat forwards. Press your hands into the mat as well. Another full breath here. Inhale and exhale. Lower your torso, bring your hands underneath your shoulders and tuck your left toes under behind you. Engage through the right glutes and fire up the inner lines of both legs. And then on your next inhalation, come out of this into your figure of four down dog in 2 or 1 movements. So exhale to the floor and inhale. Pushing the floor away, coming back to your down dog with figure of four legs. Inhale. On the exhalation, take your right leg and wrap it around the left. So making into your Garudasana legs at the back of the mat. So your pretzel legs. And then just hook your left toes into the middle of the mat and continue to tilt through the hips. So finding this alternative down dog. Deep breath in, exhale. Inhale to lower your left heels towards the left side and come up into your side angle with your Garudasana legs. So you can continue to bend to the knees, finding that side angle, reaching through the right fingertips up towards the ceiling. And really feel the intent of squeezing between the thighs. Inhale. On your exhalation, wheel right hand to the floor and find your Garudasana legs side angle on the other side. So heel, left heel comes to the right side as you inhale and lift up your left arm. This side is a bit more intense or difficult to hold. Continue to squeeze between the thighs to find your balance. Continue to lift through the top of the head and find an expansive shape. Last breath here, inhale. And then exhale to lower your left hand to the floor, come to the center, unfill your right leg, find your full down dog. What a relief, heels to the floor. And you can pedal once or twice here, a couple of times, warm up your hammies. And then bring your legs to stillness, 1 full breath, inhale, and exhale. Inhale to look forward between your hands and walk or jump if you're there, to bring your feet to what is your back of your mat, or if it's the front, it doesn't really matter. It's not like we're in official class space, but coming towards the edge, back or front edge of your mat, bringing your heels to feel weighty, reaching your fingertips around the back of the heels, and then inhale to come up into your chair pose. So really feel as though you bring weight into the bum as you roll the pelvic floor up and under, draw the belly button in, and feel the strength in the lower spine as you sort of ensure that you aren't arching into that lower spine. Make sure the face is soft, not scrunching into the face here. Another 2 breaths in our chair pose. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. The bottom of that exhalation, bring your hands to your heart and slowly lower your bum to the floor, coming back to a seated position. So slowly bring your bum to the floor. Now you're facing what is probably the back of the mat, and we're going to do that same sequence on the left side, and we're going to end up facing the front again. So bringing your hands behind you, fingers pointing in, lift up your left leg and find the figure of 4 shape with the left leg now. Engage through the left big toe and ball of the foot and press your left knee away from your chest. Fire up into the adductors, not just on the left side, but right side too, helping with the stability. On your next inhalation, squeeze through the glutes and lift up into your tabletop. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Try and keep the hips nice and even throughout the process. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Last one here. Inhale to lift. And exhale to lower. Then reaching your right hand towards the front left side of the mat. Engage into your left leg. Reach up through the left arm to try and find some stability here and strength. And then inhale to lift your hips up. And then exhale to rotate over with your figure of four legs facing the front now. Really press back with the left knee. Tilt the hips up and press back through the bum. Take a full breath here. Inhale, exhale. Inhale to look forwards to your hands and come into the plank pose with our figure of four legs. Trying to not let that left knee be too heavy or close towards the floor. Keep lifting up through that knee. And then exhale to slowly lower it. Engage through the glutes as you press your right top of the foot into the floor. Slide your hands forward, bringing elbows under shoulders, pressing fingers into the floor, making your left hip really heavy. Now as you press that to the floor and try and close the gap between hip and floor on that side. Glutes really engaged and shoulders rolling back, giving you space to breathe fully here. Make the right foot nice and heavy too. And just observing the differences on each side of the hip. This posture really makes any inconsistencies over our hips very obvious. We feel them immediately. And we just want to observe those, not focus or deliberate on them, just observe and accept. Last breath here, inhale. On the exhalation, lowering the body to the floor, bringing hands under shoulders, tucking right toes under. Exhale. And then inhale to come off the floor, pushing back into our down dog and letting the left leg slide over the right to find those Garudasana or pretzel legs in the down dog with the right leg as the strong leg. Push the floor away and try and straighten into the spine. And then exhale to bring your right heel towards the right. And inhale to lift up your left arm side, your Vashisthasana on the right side with Garudasana legs. Keep opening up the chest, trying to reach through the top of the head. And then exhale to close left arm to mat, bringing right heels to the left side. Inhale to lift up right arm, Vashisthasana, Garudasana legs on your left side. Reach through the top of the head. Keep the inner thighs active. Last breath here, inhale. And exhale, rotate that arm over, right arm over, and then unfurl your legs, down dog. Let's take 3 releasing breaths here in the down dog. Inhale. Exhale through the mouth, audible sigh. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, audible sigh. And third one, inhale through the nose. And exhale, audible sigh. Inhale, look to the front of the mat and walk your feet forwards or jump if you're there. And exhale to fold in. Inhale to rise, reverse dive up, spreading the arms out. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. We're going to go through 3 rounds of our Surya Namaskar here. Feet spread to the floor. Inhale to lift. Exhale to fold down. Hinging from the hips, weight coming into the balls of the feet, softening in the back of the neck. Inhale, straight back, straight legs. Bending your knees and jumping or stepping back into your plank pose. From here, finding your chaturanga, up dog, down dog if that's in your practice, or moving through a 8-limb pose and low cobra, up to you. If you're in your chaturanga, exhaling. Inhaling to rise. So find your edge in your practice. If you need a low cobra, you need to use your knees in the transitions here, that's totally fine. We all meet back in our down dog. 2 full breaths here. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, looking forward towards your hands, jumping or stepping. Exhale to fold in. Inhale to rise. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale to fold, hinging from the hips. Inhale, straight back, straight legs. Bending your knees and jumping or stepping. Finding your chaturanga or using your knees. And we all meet back in down dog, piking through the hips and feeling that full tilt of the hips and the expansion of the hands, the energy pushing away into the floor, allowing for more spaciousness and lightness through the shoulders. Exhale. Inhale, looking forward, and on that exhalation, jumping or stepping to the front of the mat. Exhale to fold in. Inhale to rise. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale to fold, hinging from the hips. Inhale, straight back, straight legs. Bend your knees, jump or step. And we all meet back in down dog. 2 full breaths here. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. On your next inhalation, lifting up your right leg, kicking it back and behind you, coming into your 3-legged dog, tilting the right hip slightly towards the floor so that your hips are flat, parallel to the floor, and firing up the inner line of the right leg. Push your hands evenly away from the mat and find an external rotation in the upper arms to protect your shoulders. Last breath here, inhale and exhale. On the next inhalation, bend into that right knee, hug it in towards your heart as you bring your right knee towards the left elbow or upper arm. Exhale to kick back. Inhale, right knee to upper arm or elbow. Exhale to kick back. Inhale, 3rd time, this time hold it there, and then release your right foot out towards the side, coming into your fallen triangle. Opening through the heart, pressing feet into towards the floor, and engaging through the patellas here so that you can activate the quads. Last full breath, inhale, neck is soft. And then exhale to close the body to the floor, lifting up your right leg, hugging it in towards your heart. Taking a breath here, inhale, exhale. And then inhale to bring it between your hands. On your next inhalation, lifting up into your high lunge. Far into the back left knee and the back heel as you open through your heart. Make sure the back left glute is nice and strong and you have your stability. And then on your next exhalation, open your arms out, palms facing forwards, arms alongside of shoulders. Inhale to open your heart and open the chest a little bit, and then exhale to dome into the upper back and bring the hands together. Inhale to open and exhale to close. Inhale to open. Exhale to close. Inhale to open. Exhale to close. This will be the last one now. Inhale to open. Exhale to close, and then straighten your front knee and sweep your hands towards the center, facing the side of your mat. Left foot at a 90-degree angle to the front right foot. And then inhale to reach out with the arms, readying yourself for your Trikonasana. Reach through the top of the head. Inhale, start to reach towards the right, stretching as far horizontally as you can before you make the vertical transition down, hand to floor. Look up towards your left hand and start to tilt that right hip forwards as you draw the left hip backwards. Lengthen through the neck, lengthen through the left side body. Find another 2 breaths here. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale to come up again. And then we're going to swivel to face the front of the mat. I'm going to hook my left foot slightly closer towards my right and swivel to face the front of the mat, coming in to our reverse triangle, bringing your right hand on your right hip and reaching up through the left arm. Engage through the glutes. We're going to twist over the body and then exhale as you tilt from the hips and bring that full revolved triangle twist. Left hand on the outside of the right foot or outside of the right shin if the floor is too far away. And then opening your chest towards the left side of the mat. So feeling the rotation in the spine. Keep your feet really strong here, energetically glued to the mat as you draw the patella up and fire up the adductors, the inner line of the legs. Neck is soft and long. Last full breath here. Inhale and exhale. And then sweeping your left arm forward. And from here, inhale to come up, facing the side. We're going to come into the side angle. So I actually wanted to come up from this because this is an important pose for us to getting into our 8-limb pose. You're going to open those legs out again, nice and wide, and come into, say, your warrior 2 legs from here. First option for our side angle is to bring your right elbow on your right knee, palm facing upwards, and then you can rotate that chest towards the side, rotating the left hip backward, engaging into the left glute, and then inhale to bring the left arm overhead, reaching up through the fingertips, making that wonderful, strong diagonal shape with the body. So this is the first option. And we're taking our time to get into the pose because it's important in warming up for our 8th limb instead of rushing through it. And so you can either stay here, take a few breaths here, or you can exhale to bring your hand to the floor on the inside of that right leg. And now you really want to draw your right glute in. So you don't press the bum outwards and close the chest. You want to draw that right glute in and engage through the right glute more as you reach through the top hand. Last few breaths, you have the option to come into a bind. So you can reach the left arm overhead and bring the right arm underneath that right thigh to have your hands to meet behind you, or perhaps holding onto your shirt or pair of pants. And then press back with the outer part of the right arm on the inside of the right thigh as you open your chest more towards the ceiling. Last 2 breaths here. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And then inhale to come up, bringing the palms together, and exhale to find your way into Skandasana at the back of your mat. So now we're totally stretching out that right hip joint after all the pressure on it, and just come to settle the body here as you hook your left elbow on the inside of that left knee, or if you're not close to the floor, just finding your balance here. Activate through the right foot. Let's move through a transition on each side. Inhale, exhale, let's go back to the right. Inhale, you can use the floor if you need to. Exhale to the back. Beautiful. Last breath here, inhale and exhale. Inhale to come to the center and come to stand up into your goddess pose. So hooking your heels in, toes out, sitting down into the hips and rolling the pelvic floor up and under to protect the lumbar spine. Hands out and strong elbows in line with the shoulders. Exhale. Inhale to lift the arms up now. Imagine as though there's an invisible ball between the hands. And on your next exhalation, start to rotate that invisible ball towards the right, making a full circle as though you're painting a circle with a ball in front of you, coming up on the left. We'll go 3 times towards the right. Inhale to come up. Exhale to come up. And 3 times to the left. Inhale to come up. Exhale. And back towards the center, straightening through the legs, hooking the heels back, toes in, hands in the small of the back. Inhale to lift and lengthen. Exhale to tilt from the hips, coming into your standing forward bend with wide legs. So bring the weight right forward into the heels, and you can either bring your hands onto the mat and draw the heel of the hands back, either in line with the feet or further back, tilting more with the hips, trusting the weight to bring it right over into the balls of the feet. Or if you are ready and want to go further, hold on to your ankles as you open your elbows outwards and get a bit of traction from the hands here, going more deeply into the pose. Feel as though the structure of your hips is expanding up and out of the flesh, up towards the ceiling and outwards, sideways, as though you could take the skeletal structure even of the legs and expand them out of the structure of the body. So much is that pressing outwards and lifting. Last breath here, inhale and exhale. Inhale to look forwards, release your hands from wherever they were, place them under your shoulders, and then just hook your feet slightly closer in. I did one kind of rotation of the feet, so you just need them that bit closer. And then exhale to bring your right hand over your left leg and your left arm over your right. So your arms will cross in front of your chest. So you can either stay here if your shoulders are super tight, but if you'd like to try, you can then draw the left elbow away from the head and tuck your head underneath the left arm, between the right and left arm, and then pull back on your left leg with your right hand to twist and look up towards the ceiling. Exhale. Another full breath here, inhale and exhale. Inhale to center, and let's go the other way. So first right hand to left, and then the left arm to the right now on the inside. So the left arm's now under the right. And then when you're ready, lifting up the right elbow, bringing your hand between those arms and getting that lovely rotation in the spine. Holding onto the left hand very strongly with the right wrist. And perhaps twisting the side body towards the right leg, opening the chest up. Last breath here, inhale and exhale. Unfurling the arms and inhale and rotate towards the front of your mat, bending into that front knee, lowering into a low lunge, pressing your hands into the floor, stepping back into your plank. From here, knees, chest, chin, low cobra, or your vinyasa. Piking through the hips, we all meet back in down dog. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. On the next inhalation, lifting your left leg back and behind you, engaging into the inner line of the left leg, and closing your left hip slightly towards the floor so that your hips are parallel, pressing the floor away evenly through both hands. I like in a three-legged dog to make what's called a floint with the foot. So it's halfway between a flex, which is to push the heel backwards and make a right angle with the foot, and a point, which is what a ballerina, for example, or gymnast would do, which is to point right through the toes and flex in the front part of the ankle. And a floint, it comes from forest yoga, is to go somewhere between the two. So you press through the ball of the foot, engage through your toes. And on your next inhalation, you're going to bend into that knee, bringing left knee to right elbow. And then exhale, kick back. Inhale, left to right. Exhale, kick back. Inhale, left to right. This time, hold it there for a moment and release your left leg, coming into your fallen triangle, lifting up your right arm, pressing into the floor, into your knees, lifting hips up towards the ceiling, softening the neck, softening the shoulders. Another full breath here. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale, close the body to the floor, lifting up your left leg, bending the left knee and hugging that left leg underneath your body. Find your breath. And on your next inhalation, bring the left foot between the hands. Coming up into your high lunge with the next inhalation. Getting your balance here, engaging into the back right leg, engaging into the back right glute. And when you're ready, exhale to bring arms alongside shoulders. And exhale to open the chest. And then inhale to dome into the chest, palms together. Exhale to open, expansive. Inhale, drawing everything in. Exhale to dome. Exhale to open. Inhale to dome. And exhale. Inhale. And this will be the last one. Exhale. And inhale. And then exhale to straighten that front leg and swivel the back foot, readying yourself for the Trikonasana. So find the alignment in your feet, engage through the glutes, and inhale to reach arms out. Palms facing down, hips are locked to the side of the mat. Inhale to reach horizontally as far as you can. And then exhale to come into that vertical aspect of the pose, reaching up to your right hand as you bring the front of the body to the right side of the mat. Lengthen through the neck. Another full breath here. Inhale and exhale. Inhale to come up. And now we're doing the reverse one. So close the space between your feet a little bit, about 1 meter apart now. Engaging through the knees, left hand on left hip as you inhale and reach up with the right arm. Open the chest, lengthen, and then with the exhalation, tilting from the hips, keeping the back and arm nice and straight and aligned. Bring the right hand over the outside of the left foot as you tilt to lift up the left hand and come into your reverse triangle, so revolved triangle. So this pose is both a balancing pose and a standing pose and a stretching pose all at once. So there's a lot going on. You want to focus on your breath and press into the earth, get earthy, squeeze between the thighs, engage through your mula bandh, and then try and expand through the shoulders. And try not to overthink it. Follow the breath, find the alignment in the body, and then follow the breath. Last breath here, inhale, exhale. Inhale to come up. And then bending into that front left leg as you open the space between your legs a little bit more. Now taking our time in the side angle. So finding that right angle in the left knee over heel, and then exhaling to bring your left elbow onto the left knee. Open and rotate your right hip backwards as you open the side body. Take your time to get into the pose. Engaging into the outer line of the right foot, pressing the baby toe and outer line of the right foot strongly back into the floor. And then inhale to bring the right arm overhead, finding that perfect side angle. This variation is accessible to most people, really feeling the energy running from fingertips right down to the outside of the foot. If you went on the one side, come on the other into the more intensive version, bringing left hand on the inside of left foot. Still finding that kinetic energy in the diagonal shape. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And then if you did on the other side, find your bind, bringing the top arm over, left arm underneath, finding your hands on the outside of what is really the rump of the body. And then twist into your upper body to look up towards the ceiling. Opening up the shoulders. We're going to need this for our 8-angle pose, as well as the strength and open hips. Last full breath here, inhale and exhale. Inhale to unfurl the arms and come up, bringing the palms to the chest, and then exhale to sink towards the back of the mat, really stretching out your left hip, coming into your skandasana or skater pose at the back of the mat. Lower towards the floor if that's in your practice. Stay high if you need to. On your next inhalation, coming up, and let's rotate towards the front or transition towards the front, using your hands if you need them. Inhale up, slow transition to the back. Inhale and up, keeping the hips low, and then stay in the center of your mat. As you bring your hands underneath your hips, bringing the full part of your palms onto the floor. And then start to make a right angle in the elbows, so your knees are really bent and you're just sitting back. So try to bring your hips and the hamstrings onto the elbows. Deep, intensive hip stretch. So even if you're not quite there, even if you're higher, you're still making the hips heavy and sending the bum backwards and downwards, pressing the hands to the floor underneath your hips. Last breath here, inhale and exhale. Inhale to come out of the pose, standing up with the wide legs, nice straight back as you do that, hooking the heels out, toes in, bringing the hands behind the hips, interlocking the fingers. Inhale to straighten the arms, opening up the chest, drawing the arms away from you. And on your exhalation, tilting from the hips, coming forwards, arms overhead. Feel the weight of the upper body and that full lovely stretch over the front and top of the shoulders, over the chest. Feel that the head and the arms are very heavy here. Let the gravity do the work rather than pressing your arms down or over. Try and make the shoulders soft. If you need a micro bend in the back of the knees to protect your hamstrings, then please do that, apply that. And whether your knees are therefore straight or bent, bring the weight forward into the balls of the feet. Last breath here, inhale and exhale. Inhale to stand up, releasing your hands from the hips and rotating towards the front of the mat. Bringing your hands in front of the heart, and then exhale to stretch forwards and over that front of that leg. Nice, slow, mindful movement as you bring both hands to the floor and step back into your down dog. Deep, full breath, inhale and exhale. On the inhalation, lifting your heels off the floor and feeling that full wave of the spine as you look in towards your belly, waving, doming through the spine, waving forward, finding the plank. Exhale, lowering into chaturanga or knees, chest and chin. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, looking between your hands, and at the bottom of exhalation, jump or step. Bringing the feet together, sliding the hands back to the heels. Inhale to come up in your chair pose. Exhale. Inhale to lift up enough to bring your figure of four shape in the front of the mat, and exhale, sit back into the chair pose with the figure of four legs. Right big toe and ball of the foot super engaged. Exhale to lower your hands and bring them onto, pressing on the inside of the right knee and right ankle to find your balance. And you can either stay here if that's where you, as far as you're going, or you can go a bit further and bring your left crease of the left elbow around the outside of the right foot, crease of the right elbow around the outside of the right knee. Bring your hands together, clasp your fists, fire up the mulaband and the glutes, and then inhale to stand up. Some more intensive version. Try and straighten through the spine, pressing the chest forward. Make sure the left big toe and ball of the foot and inner arch of the foot is strong. And then exhale to slowly bring that leg back onto the knee. And then release. Feet back to center. Inhale to stand up. Nice full stretch of the body. Come onto the tippy toes. Reach through the fingertips. Open through the chest. And then exhale, heels to the floor. Sitting back down into the chair pose, lifting up the left leg. Bringing the left leg in the figure of four shape. Bringing your hands down. First option, right hand over left ankle. Left hand on left knee. And finding your balance here. First option. Second option, crease of right elbow on the outside of left foot, crease of left elbow over left knee. Engage through the mulaband, engage the adductors and the glutes, and take an inhalation, interlock your fingers, that's very necessary, and then inhale to stand up. Pressing your chest forward as you try to make space through the shoulders and press into the back of the right knee, pressing the big right toe and inner line of the foot down into the floor. Last breath here, inhale and exhale to slowly lower that leg, bringing it back to the knee. And then releasing that foot, and then sitting in a super, super low chair pose, arms alongside the ears. Last breath here, inhale, and then exhale, sitting down onto your mat. Stretching your left leg out, coming into the prep for our Evelyn pose now, as you bring your right knee close in towards your heart. Inhale to lengthen, and then exhale to reach the right arm on the inside of that right knee and get nice and low, and then draw the arm back. So as you draw it back, you're going to bend into the right elbow, and then bring your left arm around. Bring your hands to meet, or just hold on to your t-shirt, or if you've got a long top or a scarf or something nearby and you want to use that as a strap, that's also an option. And then you want to press your solar plexus, so your solar chakra, your Manipura chakra we worked on last week. You want to press that down towards the thigh as you reach through the chin and close the gap between upper leg and chest. Last breath here, inhale and exhale. Inhale to sit up. And then bring your right leg with you as you bring the outside of the right foot into the crease of the left elbow. And then you're going to rock, bringing the other arm around, so interlocking the fingers, and rock from side to side, opening the hip out. Then come to still the body. Stay where you are. I'm going to rotate to face the camera so it's easier to see. And then you're going to draw that right knee backwards as though you were coming into the happy baby, but sitting up straight. So you want to draw the knee back towards, in line with the right shoulder. First stage. Maybe this is where you stay and you just focus on opening that hip. Second stage is to draw your right shoulder underneath the right knee, and the back of the right knee, and then to press down on the right shoulder with the right calf. So to get that feeling, and feel that press as you tilt your chest forwards, and now pressing on the back top part of the shoulder with the leg. Then inhale to straighten again, and then lifting up your left leg now and drawing your left foot over the right. So you've come to cross your feet out towards the side. So even if you don't have supple hips, you can still bring the feet to cross on this right side of the body. And you want to really fire up those adductors as we've been working towards our whole session. And then you're going to start to press your hands into the floor, engage through the mulaband, and you want to tilt your chest forward at the same time as you fire up the adductors, press the thighs together and straighten the legs out. And that should lift you up, and then you lower your chest towards the floor. And this is our 8-limb pose. So you can practice that another time, drawing the thigh up, left over right, tilting towards the side, hands shoulder width apart. Remember, you're going to bend into the elbows. You want chaturanga arms. And you're going to fire between the legs as you press into the floor and straighten them out as you lift the bum up and come forwards. Exhale to release. Okay, let's try that on the other side. So left leg close in towards the chest, right leg nice and straight. Inhale to reach forward, left arm on the inside of the left leg. Exhale, rotating the arm back, bringing the right hand to meet the left in the bind, or holding onto a t-shirt or a scarf. Straighten through the back, and then exhale to offer the solar plexus forward to the thigh, reaching through the chin. Make sure that your right leg is super engaged. Inhale to lift up and releasing the arms from in the front of the leg. And as you do that, lift up your left leg, bringing your left arm around the outside, cradling that leg and just opening the hip out. We've already prepped for this, so the hip should feel nice and open. And then coming to still the body and drawing your left knee back, like in the happy baby, just pressing it back and keeping the back, your spine nice and straight, either stopping here or bringing your left shoulder underneath that left knee and starting to feel the tension in the back of that left leg pressing down on the left shoulder. So you really need that resistance of pressing down in order to lift up for our pose. So you can just practice leaning forward and continuing to press down on the shoulder with the leg, clamping down and in. And then inhale to straighten up and placing hands shoulder width apart, spreading the fingers, and then lifting up your right leg and twisting a little bit to the side. It makes it more accessible as you bring your right ankle over the left. And start to fire up the adductors as you now face the front and the legs are out towards the left. On your next inhalation, fire up your core and your mulaband, and then exhale to press between the thighs, lifting up and then lowering into your 8-limb pose. And release. Let's try it one more time on the side to balance out. So left arm under left shoulder or even around the left upper arm, that's also fine. Right ankle over left, legs out towards the side, firing up the core and between the thighs. Inhale to draw the strength up and press into the floor. Exhale to kick out, lifting up and then lowering the body. 8-limb pose. And release. Perfect. Good. So let's just give a little bit of relief to the lower spine. Feet hip width apart, and we can just windscreen wipe them from side to side. Just alternating, maybe doing 2 more rotations. Inhale, coming back to the center, bringing the heels together, knees go outwards, and you're going to walk your hands closer towards your hips. And you're bringing the outside of your feet flush with the floor. Press your feet together as you inhale to lift up your hips and come right forwards. Weight fully really on the outside of the baby toe. As you press your knees down and then press the floor away with your hands and offer your chest up towards the ceiling. Let the head flop back. We'll stay here for another 3 breaths. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale to straighten up. Exhale to bring the bum back to the floor. And then moving the legs out towards the side, placing the hands underneath, coming into our tabletop. And we've got 2 options here. The first one is to move through a few rotations of cat-cow and then find your child pose, drawing your bum back towards your heels. If you would like to, however, come into our headstand, we're going to go for that today. So I'm going to walk through you the few lead-up critical stages, nice and slowly, so you can practice this at home. You can also bring your mat to the edge of a wall and have the wall behind you if you feel in your home space you need that extra bit of support. If it's in your practice and you are familiar with a headstand, please go ahead, set yourself up, and then make into, as a variation to practice for you, find a figure of 4 legs on either side, as has been a motif for our class. So for everybody who's going to be following me through this, you're going to bring your elbows onto the floor, underneath the shoulders, and interlock your fingers. Soft fingers, strong elbows. So don't let the elbows splay open, but don't bring rigidity into the hands. And then bring the crown of your head. So that's probably a little bit further back than you anticipate. So it's really not the front part of the head, it's the very top soft part of the head. So bring the crown of the head onto the mat and place it just between your hands as you press your elbows into the floor. Inhale to lift your hips up and walk your feet towards your face. So this could be maybe stage 1 if you're not familiar. And what you're going to do here is to start to work with your balance as you come right over into the tips of the feet and draw the hips back towards the wall. And you're playing with your balance, finding the straight line with the spine and maybe bringing 1 foot up at a time, finding your own inner strength. If you're familiar, or that feels light and good, from there, once you lift up, say, the right foot, you bring the left with it. And this is another stage here, very safe, knees close in towards torso. And once you have stability and a straight spine here, you really have the foundation for the pose. And then when you're ready, inhale to lift the knees up. And then when you're ready to straighten. Then you always want to lift your shoulders a little bit away from the ears and press your elbows into the floor as you soften your hands. And you want to find your line. So the line is when your joints are stacked on top of each other, and amazingly, your body feels light. So it's quite common that you're tilting a bit in the hips, tilting forwards to protect yourself from falling backwards. Just gently, mindfully, let those legs press backwards, open into the front of the hips a little bit. Engage through the glutes to find your line. If you're coming into the figure of 4, you're going to take your right leg over the left, bringing the right heel over the top of the left knee, and then pressing the right knee backwards and engaging through the glutes. You might get a bend in the spine as you just stretch into those hips. Inhale to drink to bring everything back towards the center. Straighten into the right leg, and you'll bring the left now into the figure of 4. Engaging into the left big toe, knee, ball of the foot. Engaging through the glutes. One side's definitely better than the other for me. as you draw the left knee backwards and open the hips out. Open up the adductors. Inhale, come back to center. And then you can come down the same way you went up. And the slower you take, the better. Full control. Everyone then finding their way back into your child pose, bringing your forehead to the floor. Tuning in to the breath here. And just taking a few moments, perhaps to close the eyes and focus on the touch of eyelids to eyeballs, connecting with your breath. And if there's thoughts, judgments, ideas, deliberations flying around in your mind, let them drain out of the grey matter. Let all that energy drain from the brain into the third eye. And focus on a concentration of light over the third eye. Last 2 breaths here. And exhale. Inhale to lift your head up. And then we're going to move our feet out towards the side. And we're going to do a sitting forward bend. Nice traditional and conventional pose, a foundational pose. We did a lot of hip opening, a lot of shoulder opening and shoulder strength. So now we want to draw everything into the midline and align once again. And feel some relief in the lower back. Come into Dandasana first, hands just behind the hips, maybe making a kind of a spider shape with your fingers as you rotate the shoulders back and press the chest forward. Engage through the feet, through the balls of the feet and the big toes. On your next inhalation, lift the arms up alongside the ears. Interlock your thumbs as you lengthen through the spine. And then exhale to tilt from the hips, coming forwards into your sitting forward bend, your Patimottanasana. And you're trying to not close in the upper back and the body too much, trying to keep the chest open and free for that full rhythmical breath. And you don't have to strain your neck though to do that, so you can still look down towards your legs, but trying to press into the stiffest part of your spine, which is the part of your spine that'll be most rounded right now. So for most people, that's the upper middle part of the back. So you just want to press the scapula in towards the rib cage. And to do that, you have to draw the shoulders back and draw the elbows back and press them down into the floor. Last full breath here, inhale and exhale. Inhale to sit up, sweeping your hands back and behind you, fingers pointing in towards your hips, heel of the hands pressing back. Let's come into the east side stretch. So stretching into your toes, and on your next inhalation, lifting the hips up towards the ceiling. Nice straight legs engaging into the glutes, making a straight line with the body, softening the head. Let's flow through 3 breaths here. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale and exhale. Slowly bringing the hips back to the floor. Maybe making some space behind you as we lower ourselves onto the mat, getting ready for the final stages of our session. So we can finish off with a reclining twist because it's just such a perfect way to end the class. Feels so natural for the spine. Arms facing outwards, palms facing downwards, and you can draw your knees over towards the left side first, looking towards the right hand, pressing both shoulders into the floor. Maybe closing your eyes here. Maybe connecting with the breath. When you're ready, inhale to lift your knees up, and exhale, drawing them over to the right side, looking to the left shoulder, pressing both shoulders onto the floor. And then when you're ready, lifting your knees up. And now getting ready for your Shavasana. So perhaps you want to get something warm, or perhaps you want to put a cushion under your knees or head. Just do whatever you feel your body calls for, whatever feels right for you now. And once you have found your corpse pose, so feet flopping outwards, hip width apart, palms facing upwards, back of the hands on the mat. Once you've found that, press your feet into the floor. Inhale to lift your glutes off the floor, and then exhale to draw your hips just a bit further away from your shoulders, creating some space for the lumbar spine. And then inhale to lift your arms up off the floor, reach into the fingertips, reach away from the shoulders, and then exhale to lower, making space in the shoulders, and then press your chin just lightly and gently in towards the chest to lengthen the back of the neck. And then I invite you to close your eyes. And allow the attention to settle into the automated rhythm of the breath, that soft flutter of inhalation and of exhalation. And tune into the feeling in your body right now. I invite you to scan your body and take stock of all the sensations in your body right now, how you feel in this moment. And as you do that, I invite you to take a deep breath in. And with that breath, draw in acceptance. And with the exhalation, let go any reservations or discriminations around your body. And do that again. Inhale to accept how you feel, how you are right now, and exhale to release. And as we move into the space of acceptance and observation of the body, I invite you to also drink in the feeling after having done an asana class, after having done your mindful movement, feeling the lubrication of the joints and that nice warm oxygenated feeling through the muscles and tendons. And I invite you to take stock of this feeling. And as you observe it, as you are present with it, indeed, we can come to appreciate it. And so thank your body for today. Thank you for all that you did and flowed through on your mat today. And most of all, thank your body for turning up, giving yourself the gift of movement, a gift of presence, and a step on the road that runs throughout our lives towards health and well-being. Such a valuable and glorious gift. And with that sense of gratitude, that sweetness in the heart, I invite you to let go, holding this feeling within you and sinking back into your relaxation. This gratitude, our nectar in each day. or ambrosia. I invite you to gently run your thumbs over your fingers, and perhaps wiggle your toes. And then when you're ready, stretch your arms above your head in a lovely, deep, full inhalation, long, luxurious breath. And then keeping the awareness within you, keeping the eyes closed and taking great care with the body, come up to a seated position facing forwards. And I invite you to bring your hands together in Anjali Mudra in front of your heart, palm to palm. And to join me in the universal vibration of Om. Taking a deep breath in. Om. I'd like to read you something from the Astavakrasana, inspiration for this class. If you wish to be free, know that you are the self, the witness of all these, the heart of awareness. Set aside your body, sit in your own awareness. You will at once be happy, forever still, forever free. You are everywhere, forever free. If you think you are free, you are free. If you think you are bound, you are bound. Meditate on the self, one without two. Exalted awareness. Thank you for joining me this evening.